It was a huge summer for you, the Lions tour. Your first success as Lions player in the fourth go, was it?
Fourth tour.
Finally. But before the tour started, you said that this tour was all about winning for you, and that was it. And you know, for me, I think the difference between winning when you're starting, and you're the first 15, and the difference between your team winning when you're on the bench, I think they're very different feelings. How did your feelings change between the first test and the third test?
Dramatically. Yeah, like I won't feel guilty for how my emotions are and how that feeling is in the aftermath of the tour. Yes, it was all about winning the Lions series, and you know that the job has essentially been done. But next comes your own personal feeling within that moment of success. And you know, I look back on the tour now, and I'm glad that yes, I can call it a successful Lions series. But do I feel as much a part of it as those guys that took the pitch in the final test? No, I don't think I do. Do I look back on it with the same delight that they do? Probably not. The highlights, looking back and hearing things from the tour, does it get me excited? Not to the same degree that I'd imagine it does those guys. But I want to apologise for those feelings, because you know I wanted to be there for the third test. I wasn't. That's rugby, and I just I guess you get on with it, but you still are left with those emotions that you can't dictate them. Do I look back on it with the same delight that they do? Probably not. Similarly, in a much lesser context, you know, from an importance point of view, this year I didn't play in the Amlin final. I played the semi-final, and then I was injured for the final, and when the lads won the trophy and we did a lap of honour, I was in my suit, and I just did not feel part of that winning team. And that's my club. That's the club I've been with for 15 years.
Yeah. You know, as long as I know you know, you're always first name on the team sheet. There was never an issue with being dropped. Everybody else gets dropped. We all got dropped. We all dealt with it in different ways. And you've never been dropped as a professional rugby player. Never happened to you. Did you see it coming down the line? Did you see it coming?
I thought there was a chance of it, because you know I hadn't played wonderfully in the Test series. I hadn't had an awful lot of opportunity, but defended pretty well. From an attacking point of view, I didn't really do an awful lot. Probably made one bad error in attack in the second test that could have possibly, if I'd done something different, could have created a score. So I look back on that, and I'm as a bit of a disappointment. But I guess I look on it as a whole. That week I tried to prep for the whole week, as if I was going to be playing a test match. Some of the boys had a few beers on Sunday night. I said, I can't do that. I won't be properly ready for Saturday game if I have beers. So I had an ice cream instead. And then we came to Wednesday, did an extra gym session on the Tuesday when we had it off, just to prep myself for Saturday.
I always find it interesting how people are told, how you're told that you're not playing, or how they're told you're dropped from the squad. How were you told?
So I was making myself a coffee, and I got a tap on the shoulder, and Gats was there, and Rob Howley was there behind him, and I thought, two's trouble. And I got asked, can we just have a word in the team meeting room, and went in and pretty much just came out with it, said, we don't have a place for you this weekend. I was still a little shocked and a little disappointed, but it wasn't the greatest bolt from the blue I've ever come across in my career, from watching other things or my own situation.
And during that time, the Lions, there was so much support for you, from back home. There was messages of support from some of Ireland's best ever rugby players, Willie John McBride, Keith Wood. They were all very supportive. How did that affect you?
Yeah, listen, it's nice to hear. I suppose it's a loyalty thing and a national pride thing, as well as when your pride is taken a dent, as any players it has when they've been dropped. It's nice to hear people sticking up for you in your corner. But as much as there were the Irish contingent, saying what a disgraceful decision it was. There were just as many Welsh saying what a smart, clever move it was. And I see that Woody still gets a little bit of stick by standing by his comments, but you have certain opinions, and sometimes they change with time, and his haven't, which makes him an unbelievable pal of mine.
Yeah, forever. He is on the Christmas card list. For a lot of people, they saw the fact that Brian O'Driscoll had been dropped from the team was a shock. But when they saw that you weren't in the squad at all, like that was almost unbelievable. Did you question at the time that why you weren't on the bench at least, or did you feel as if you had something to contribute?
I didn't actually know that Manu. I didn't ask them, what the bench was. So until the team was read out, I didn't know that Manu was the spare outside back on the team. So that was kind of a little bit of a kick in the guts. Yeah. Alex Cuthbert had been on the bench. He played first test, bench second test, and then I presumed he'd be on there again because he covered wing. Tommy potentially come into the centre, but when I heard Manu read out, I got a second jolt. I was, I think for me starting is everything, and I wasn't in it, so it was just a case of trying to make sure that I could be the best team player that I could be thereafter, which you're dealing with your own disappointments, your own kind of inner turmoil, but you have to portray a positivity and an attitude towards the team being the be all and end all, and essentially it comes down to that. Individuals are one thing, but the team is what counts, isn't it?
Do you resent him a bit for the decision?
Do I resent him? Yeah, there's resentment, of course. Yeah, I'd be. Is he on the Christmas card list? Unlikely. How can I? When you're left with disappointment that way, you can't but feel a little bit resentment. People will say the decision was justified because of the result and the performance. I guess the way the team played, I felt within the 13 jersey that I might have been able to do a decent job on within that cog of the team, the way they played in that game. That's absolutely not taking anything away from John's performance, because I think I thought he was pretty good that day, and he made some big plays at important times. But I guess again it comes back to you backing yourself and feeling that you too could have done some things that maybe others didn't do on the day. The way the team played, I felt within the 13 jersey that I might have been able to do a decent job on within that cog of the team, the way they played in that game. I still wanted, of course, I wanted the team to win. I still wanted to be part of a winning Lion series. It was just a matter of trying to be a really good Lion, and Ian McGeechan told me of Jason Leonard being the best Lion that he had ever coached, because in '97 when he had been left out for Paul Wallace in the Test match team, that he made sure that Wally was in the best possible shape that he could be before he went out and played the first test. So I tried to do likewise with Jamie. I sat down with him and I talked through my knowledge of the Australians, talked through trying to deal with Johnny Sexton on a rugby pitch, which is no easy feat, and just small little intricacies that might have benefited him or John Davis, trying to get a positive outcome.
Did you feel your Lions tour was tarnished as a result?
I don't know if I'd necessarily use the word tarnished. Probably, go into the thesaurus and find a word similar to it. Just tarnish seems
we might be here a while for a word.
Tarnish seems very, very harsh. I think it's lessened the enormity of it, is the best way I could describe it. What should have been probably one of the greatest achievements in my career hasn't, unfortunately, subsequently turned out to be that case. I probably look on some other things that I've won with greater affection because of the manner in which the series finished. And again, I don't apologise for that. That's just my gut, and that's just how I feel.
It's only about winning. It's all about winning the tour. Surely your final year, it's only about trophies this year.
Yeah, it is.
Nothing
It
else.
is. Yeah. When you have achieved a bit of success, you get selfish for it, and you can't get enough. It's not about the waving goodbye to everyone and this is the end. It's about being able to do laps of the pitch with a trophy and share those great moments with teammates.
There's so much hysteria last year around your retirement. And like every time you walked off a pitch, it was a standing ovation because the crowd thought that was finally it. Did you feel like under a certain pressure to announce that you were going to retire at the end of the season?
I probably, if I could have it all back again, I probably would have done it slightly differently, and I had to deal with it in my own head of trying to work out, from a rugby point of view, from a family point of view, from a physical being point of view, how I felt, and the excitement of I wanted to see who the new Irish coach coming in was going to be, and whether I felt I still had something to offer at that level. So there was lots of different things. I even wanted to make sure, from a Lions point of view, I didn't want to be saying that I was going to be retiring at the end of the year, because I didn't want Gats or Rob Howley or Andy Farrell saying, well, why is he retiring after this Lions tour? Does he feel he's not up to it anymore? So I didn't even want to give that psychological, profile, so to speak. So all of those things made me think that, one more year. I still feel I have enough to offer. Mightn't be quite the same as it was 10 years ago, but I think the experience that I can pass on to the new generation will hopefully, equip them for their careers. And listen, you never know, you might win a bit of silverware in the meantime.